We've just left the Grand Canyon National Park. We've come out the south side. The south side entrance from the village is a lot shorter drive than if you go through the east side. So the east side is an extra 60 mile or so between the entrance and the village. So just if you're going to come from the east side, make a note that that's extra long. We're heading south. Today, our ultimate goal is to get to Tombstone, which is way down south in South Arizona, past Tucson. On today's route, we'll head south from the Grand Canyon to the town of Williams, located on the iconic Route 66.
We've stopped in at a town called Williams, and we understand that this is part of Route 66, the first part that we see. And we're doing a walk down the main street. There's lots and lots of replica Route 66 stuff to look at. So let's go and have a look and see how interesting it is. As we walked down the main street of Williams, we were completely surrounded by the awesome history of Route 66. There were reflections of this iconic era in US motoring history everywhere we looked. The street was colourful and vibrant, and even in the early morning, there was so much to see. There were tons of souvenir stores, and locals were really friendly and always up for a chat. It was such a cool experience to just take our time and wander along this historic road.
This street is a real nod to all things Americana, from the Wild West to the heyday of US motoring and manufacturing, Americana-style music and food. It's a cool spot for fans of this kind of art, food and culture. And this was a happy place for us, especially seeing the cars in the street and in the in-store displays. Alrighty, so Williams, Arizona has been absolutely awesome. If you ever come to Arizona, make sure you stop in at Williams. And if you're into cars, which I know a lot of our subscribers are, come in the first week of June because they have a massive car show. It's on tomorrow. We didn't know about it, sadly, until we got here this morning, and we are booked into accommodation down in Tombstone, so we have to keep going. But there's a car show on tomorrow, which sounds like it's going to be awesome. Hundreds of cars, all lining Route 66 in Williams, Arizona. It couldn't get any cooler than that. So for those of you, we know there's a lot of you who are into the cars, make sure you try to get to Williams, Arizona at least once to see the car show. There are cars here today that we've seen a few around. The town itself is awesome. It pays homage to Route 66. It's big business here. There's a lot of souvenirs for it. The lady at the info centre was super helpful, gave us an alternative route to Tombstone that helps us avoid the traffic of Phoenix. But before we do that, we're going to Sedona, Montezuma's castle, and then we are going on the bypass of Phoenix, which sounds like it's going to be really interesting. Stay tuned, keep coming. We're going to look at some great stuff.
We had to take the long way to Sedona because the scenic back road from Flagstaff to Sedona was closed for maintenance. But it's all good. We blasted Depeche Mode's song, Get Your Kicks on Route 66, and cruised the highway, finding it hard to believe that we were actually here.
Today it was crazy hot in Arizona, and it was still in the midst of a heat wave. In fact, it seemed it was even hotter than the last few days. The temperature hit a scorching 39 Celsius or 102 Fahrenheit during this drive, and later in the day it was 46 or 115 Fahrenheit. This really messed with our plans and forced us to cut some activities short because it would have been just too unbearable in these temperatures.
So we've popped into a little town called Sedona, which is very much another touristy town, much like some of the others that we've seen so far. I'd heard that the Red Rocks there were amazing. We had a quick look on the Red Rocks Drive, but it's about 39 degrees outside. They're very similar to the Red Rocks that we've seen in other places, and we do have a bit of a tight schedule to get to Tombstone. So we thought, have a quick look on that road. We've filled up with fuel, chucked the Yui, and now we're going back to find somewhere to have some lunch and get to Tombstone before it hits 45 degrees. We had a pass for Montezuma's castle, which is just a quick drive south of Sedona. We stopped for lunch at a rest stop along the way, and I flew my drone before we continued our journey.
Okay, we're here at Montezuma's castle. We're heading in. It's $10 per person to get in. We've already paid that ahead. So we're going to head in and have a look. It's pretty hot out here.
It's damn hot out here, eh? Just feels really hot now, and still there's no breeze.
Yeah, so I take back what I said in Moab. This feels hot. Arizona heat is Australian heat, so don't ever underestimate Arizona heat.
Montezuma Castle is an ancient dwelling located in the Verde Valley in central Arizona. Some mistakenly believe it was the former home of the Aztec Emperor Montezuma, but scholars have found that it was actually built by cliff-dwelling Signagua people.
So in previous episodes, we've been to Blanding to the Kiva House, and we also went to the Navajo National Monument. The Navajo National Monument has similar buildings to these, but they're way off in the distance. This one, you're probably only about 200 metres or so away from, so you can really see it kind of up close. And I asked the ranger at the front, he thinks that here from Montezuma's castle, they probably traded with the peoples who lived in the Kiva house in Blanding. So that's pretty cool. They're all around the same sort of time. They probably traded. But this is a great example. This is probably the closest you can get up to.
Really great. I was going to say really cool, but it's not. It's really hot. But it's really great to be able to see, as Scott said, the things so close up. And one of the other things I'm noticing as we walk down this trail through the shaded, beautiful shaded areas is that it smells like honey. I'm not sure what the plant or the tree is. So if anybody knows who's watching this from Arizona, who knows what that honey smell is, it's beautiful. It's just like walking through a honey forest. Okay, so I think we've answered the question. There is a tree here which is an acacia, and they call it it's like a claw on it that the natives used to say used to grab you and grab hold of you. They used to also use it for furniture and fruit and things like that. But the bees love it for honey, so that is probably that beautiful fragrance we're smelling, like honey, smelling like honeycomb. So the acacia is also what the Australian wattle is, so very likely related to the Australian wattle. That's pretty cool. There's a lot about this area that is so similar to the outback western areas of Australia, so it's really nice to see. Okay, so that was a really cool place. So Montezuma's castle is just north of Phoenix in Arizona. So if you're this way, drop in and have a visit. It's really cool. It's a very short walk. It's 0.3 of a mile. I think they worked it out, or half a kilometre, the whole loop. Really easy to do even in this heat, even though it is hot. So bring your water if it's hot. One thing I want to mention is that Montezuma is the name that was given by the early American explorers because they thought that the castle was linked to the Aztecs of Mexico and Central America, but it turns out it's not. And so Montezuma is a misnomer. It's not related to the Aztecs at all, but it is of the same period as the Puebloan houses, as Scott said, further to the north, and that they most likely traded with each other along a route. So very cool place. Drop in and visit Montezuma's castle. It's not really Montezuma's castle.
We were going to take the byway that the helpful lady at the Williams Info Centre suggested. We'll be heading through the Arizona mountains via Payson, so hopefully it'll be a bit cooler as we travel, and then down through Globe and Wilcox to eventually reach our destination in Tombstone. We were really thankful to have this alternate route to avoid the Phoenix and Tucson traffic.
This is a good a day as any to start the rebuilding of life. The roads that lay open are many when the old one's gone under the knife. And I can feel the sun on my skin, beginning to thaw from within. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today is a good day to live. This morning has a clearer light as any to see the horizon and the far. Excuses were 2 for a penny, but they've all gone out the window of this car. And when I feel the wind on my face, all that ever was is a race. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day. Today and not tomorrow, there's no time to borrow. Today, well, something's gotta give. Today is a good day to live.
After a long but scenic and very interesting drive, we finally reached Tombstone.
We're going to be staying at the Tombstone Monument Guest Ranch for the next few days, just outside of Tombstone. It was so cool that when we walked in the saloon, they had a hot meal and drinks waiting for us. What a perfect way to wrap up the day. We'll check out Tombstone and the area in our next episode. Until then, take care of your mates.